Hey everybody, back to do my most recent Jazz Phonophines update. It's been a little while since I've posted a video, not too long, but anyways, before I start though, I wanted to kind of apologize for my lackluster commenting in the vinyl community recently. I mean, like, it is kind of a community, so it's nice when, you know, people make the effort to comment. I know I really appreciate it on my videos, and unfortunately though, I have a bad track record of being lazy in at least in commenting and stuff, and I'm gonna make more of an effort in the future. But anyways, getting back to the records, for whatever reason, the last 6 months in Ottawa have been phenomenal for finding jazz records, especially in two stores in particular. Even this past week, I got a lead on a collection that'll be coming out in one store, and in another store, a collection had just recently gone out, and so that's where I'm going to show records from the first place. And in this store, it's my favorite record store. I went in earlier this week on Monday, and I could tell that I hadn't been in about 3 weeks, and just from the new arrival bins, I could tell that there was a jazz collection that had been purchased rather recently. So I asked one of the guy who at the store who prices all the records, grades them and then prices them. He's not around all the time, but fortunately he was there that time, and he told me that most of the stuff had gone out, but he was sitting on one record in particular that he just hadn't put out yet, so he let me take a look at it, and that record ended up being Mal Waldron's The Quest. Amazing record. Hadn't heard of Mal Waldron. I believe that's how you say his name. Not absolutely sure. But after he handed it to me, I noticed, like, right off the bat, the players on it, Eric Dolphy and Booker Ervin. So I knew it was going to be good. And he said, I noticed this record goes for like $300 online in your Mint edition, and he said, but don't worry, this isn't a near mint copy, and I'm not gonna be charging that much. It's got its flaws, but as you can see there, you know, some surface marks and everything. But it's also a deep groove record. Really nice label, New Jazz. And these deep groove pressings, Preston Bergenfield, New Jersey, you know, they can take a beating and still sound phenomenal. So he played this for me, and it plays pretty well. It plays great actually, except for in the quiet moments. There's a bit of surface noise, but nothing too loud. And he told me, give me $20 and it's yours. And so I've been psyched ever since picking up this record. It's just really great. RateYourMusic.com describes this, well, it's included in the cool jazz record vein. I wouldn't have really thought at first that this is a cool jazz record. It's not really the typical cool jazz I think of, like associated with like Miles Davis, you know, Dave Brubeck, some of his records. Who else do I have a cool jazz record by? Oscar Peterson's Night Train. This is a little more not as like smooth as those records. But I don't know what maybe like kind of a post-bop record, I would say, but with like cool jazz leanings. I might be like, somebody might not agree with me with those, but that's what I would think I would classify this as. Fantastic record. And next, from the same store, this record I bought in early August. If anybody recalls from my first jazz video that I posted, I was talking about a Blue Note collection that came into one of the stores. One of the guys there, the same guy that I was just talking to about that record, who showed me it. He told me that they had just gotten a bunch of Blue Notes and then they would be putting them out. So I went every day for about a week and a half just so I didn't miss anything. And I showed you guys the majority of what I picked up, but there were 2 Blue Note records that didn't make those videos because I purchased them after. And these are the 2 records. I'll save the best for a second. Horace Silver, the Cape Verdean Blues, I think that's how you say it. Pretty good Horace Silver record. I think this was either the follow-up or the second record after Songs for My Father, his most widely acclaimed record. A lot of great players on here: J.J. Johnson, Woody Shaw, Joe Henderson. This record was $6. Why was it $6? There's gotta be a reason, right? Well, definitely not the cover. This cover is in amazing shape. There's some wear on the top, but it's not even splitting anywhere. And it's a New York, USA label. I'm not sure if that makes this a first pressing. Normally on the other Blue Notes that I got, they're all marked whether like original pressing, and this one wasn't. I don't know if that was because this one was only $6 or it's a New York, USA label, but there's something missing in the dead wax. This does have Van Gelder. It doesn't have the plasticine P, or the ear mark, I think it's referred to. I'll show you on the next record what I mean by that. But anyways, the one issue with it is on this side, so you can see that mark right there, and then on this side, that mark right there, both surface marks. And honestly, it's like pretty, it'd be a VG Plus record without those 2 marks, if not, like a VG Plus record. And those marks are barely audible. They when the needle goes over them, you get a bit of surface noise, but actually it doesn't even really distract from the scene. Like it's not as if it's smooth and then twice throughout the record where those 2 marks are. It's just a faint little bit of like surface crack noise that pops up for like a second, and then but you can't even always hear it in the music and stuff, and it's really not bad at all. And like other than that, it's actually a pretty quiet record. And that's only, those marks are only on side 2. Side 1 is fantastic. $6. I mean, who in their right mind wouldn't purchase this record? Next record, unbelievable. Out of all the Blue Notes I got, this is probably the most amazing. Maiden Voyage, 1965 original. Nice glossy cover there. Cover has its issues. You can see it's kind of being eaten away there on the top and the bottom, split. This is on New York, USA labels. It's a deep groove. It's got Van Gelder and the Dead Wax. And it's also got the Plasticine P. I'll try to give you a shot of that Plasticine P for those of you who don't know. Do you see right on between the O and the T there in Blue Note and like the Dead Wax right about there? Kind of looks like a cursive P. That's what's known as the ear. Hopefully, all this information I'm giving is correct. I don't want to like mislead people, but I'm pretty sure this information is correct. Anyways, that's known as the ear mark or something, and the P stands for plasticine, and it's the type of material they used for the vinyl, or a type of like material in the vinyl. And anyways, the importance of it is like Blue Notes are one of the most complicated labels to figure out, like the pressings, because of label variations and that's one of the indications of like certain pressings is something to look out for, that plasticine P, and this has it. Herbie and Maiden Voyage, really a landmark album for Herbie Hancock. Phenomenal. Way before, definitely in his early days before he'd go on to be electric like Miles, but I absolutely love this record. Psyched to find it. Okay, next three records. What do they have in common? Max Roach. First up, this is another record that I just picked up, same time as that Eric Dolphy, Mal Waldron record. This is Max Roach, Sonny Clark, and George Duvivier. Not sure how to say the bass player's last name, but anyways, Max Roach on drums, Sonny Clark on piano, and George on bass. Really great record. This isn't a first press or original pressing. I think this record, it was released with, I think, a different cover, and may have been on a different label. This is on Time Records. I'm not really familiar with Time Records. Here's what the label looks like. Anyways, they see, there's not really on this record, not really a clear leader. Like, it just Max Roach, Clark, and Duvier. But originally it was released under Sonny Clark or George Duvier when I looked it up, and I can't remember which of the people were leaders. Not Max Roach though, and so this is an early repress, but still sounds great and really nice to have. It's a great record. This record, out of probably my favorite among all these records, and that's tough because there's a lot of amazing records in here, but for sure my top 10 jazz records, maybe top 5: Money Jungle, Max Roach, Charles Mingus, and Duke Ellington. Just like, you know, you take three amazing musicians and you put them together for a record date, and you hope that the music's gonna be good, but you know, like, it's hard to live up to as good as one would hope that music. But this record's one of those kind of like an all-star record where it's It's every bit as good as it could be, in my opinion. Duke Ellington's the leader on this, and I think every composition's his. There might be a couple standards that that weren't his, and most of them he made specifically for this date. But like Money Jungle, the lead track is really great. And Mingus, like, you know, Mingus probably Mingus and Duke Ellington are not really commonly sidemen. Well, actually, I don't know if Duke Ellington is a sideman on any records that I'm sure he is, but anyways, what I mean is Charles Mingus was a huge admirer of Duke Ellington. You can kind of assume the reasons why, because they're both like probably easily the most prolific composers and arrangers in jazz, and Duke Ellington kind of like from that big band era, and you know, somebody that Mingus could look up to, and I'm sure grew a lot of inspiration from. But this is, it's just, it I don't even know how to describe it. It's even got like a little bit of like avant-garde leanings in it, that's an incorrect way of describing it. Do yourself a favor, listen to this record. It's amazing, and this is on the United Artists Jazz label. This is a Canadian first pressing. This is the only Canadian record pressing among these records that I'm showing, as far as I'm aware. It's Deep Groove, you can see, and it sounds great. It's in great shape. I found this record the same day that I found this record. We Insist, Max Roach, The Freedom Now Suite. Amazing record. This is on the Candid label. First pressing. It's Deep Groove. Quite an important record based on how good it is, and Max Roach kind of making a political statement. Really spiritual record. His wife Abby Lincoln does the singing on this, and I hadn't heard it at all. I knew about this record, but I hadn't heard it at all prior to picking up, and I was actually pretty surprised. It wasn't what I expected. I knew it was a spiritual jazz record, but I didn't know about the vocals on it, and how much like what Abby Lincoln's singing was. I didn't know Abby Lincoln was on it, but I had heard like after I purchased it, I saw Max Roach. I knew it was a spiritual jazz record. I had heard Abby Lincoln on other records like Abby in Blue. It's a Riverside record, and M.G. Foster, like 2 years ago, picked that up, and he was really into it, and I think I checked it out around that time. Anyways, her singing on this record is completely different to that. It's actually singing on Abby in Blue, but this one's more of avant-garde singing out there. And it's not the first jazz record that I've ever heard with avant-garde vocals. I also own, and I'm going to show in my next jazz video, Sonny Sharrock's Black Woman. I was turned on to that earlier this year. I think I first heard it after watching Fatback Funk's videos, where he showcases a lot of Sonny Sharrock records, and he doesn't specifically showcase that one, but I checked, like, it was enough in his videos to intrigue me enough to check out Sonny Chiroc's most of his catalog, and Black Woman in particular resonated with me. After I heard it, it just grabbed me, and the vocals are avant-garde. Sonny Chiroc's wife singing on it, but it's done in a way that for me wasn't really hard to digest, and really beautifully. And anyways, it's beautiful, but Abby Lincoln, who also is Max Roach's wife, I believe, like Sonny Chiroc's wife singing on that record. But anyways, her, it's a little different style than Sonny Chiroc's wife. I can't remember her name. And anyways, it took multiple listens for me to fully digest and appreciate it, but once I did, I really got why this is such a great record. And not just because, you know, sometimes you try to maybe convince yourself, like, am I missing something of this? I used to do that a little bit in the past, not anymore. If I like a record, I like it. If I don't need to, like, just because everybody likes it, need to, this one I do like, and it's a great record, not just because of its political significance and, like, place in history, but because it's a fucking good record. Finally, the last thing I'm gonna, I'm 22 minutes into this video, but I'm gonna finish up with records that I got from one collection of somebody who contacted me. I posted a Kijiji ad about 6 months ago, I think, just asking if somebody was looking to sell their jazz records. They contacted me. There's a lot of ads on Kijiji. Kijiji's like Craigslist for those people who don't know. There's a lot of ads on Kijiji looking for people looking to buy record collections. I thought maybe because none of them are exclusively jazz, that maybe if I asked I was looking just for jazz records, that my odds might be a little better. So anyways, in this ad I just put, I'm a collector interested in buying records for not to like resell, I'm not trying to make a profit, just for my own interest, and name some of the artists I was interested in. In the 6 months, 3 people have like contacted me. 2 of them didn't pan out, but this one actually turned out to be really cool. And it was an elderly woman. She's in her 70s, and very sharp like a whip. Didn't seem to like have any signs of dementia so far, even though loved to chat, and it's had quite the few jazz stories of her time living in Toronto and going to the jazz clubs. Some of them seem a little far-fetched, but anyways, it was great talking with her. And she sold most of her collection a few years ago, but she had some stuff left over, and she let me take a look at it. So I'll show you what I got. This isn't all of it, but it's some of the most exciting stuff. Well, pretty much the most exciting stuff from it. First up, Louis Armstrong and Ella Fitzgerald, a duet album, or EP, with it's on Decca. It's quite a lot of surface noise. It's not the best thing, but it was just so cool, like really cool to find this. And I've never seen like these EPs or singles besides in like Anderson Stockholm videos. I've never seen any stories around here. I haven't seen other people show these, but that's pretty cool, I think. I'm not really big into getting stuff just for collecting it purposes, and I normally EPs and well, not EPs, but singles will fall into that, because they're such a pain in the ass to like flip and everything. But for the price I got them for and the musicians, I wasn't gonna pass on them. Bud Powell, Strictly Powell. This is a volume 2 of what I assume is a 2-volume EP. 2-part EP, like they released volume 1, and this is volume 2. I'm pretty sure there's a full length of Strictly Powell. Bud Powell, phenomenal piano player, whose skill and like technical ability rivals Art Tatum, who's kind of like the all-time probably greatest technical player. But anyways, Bud Powell, great musician. He doesn't have a ton of really well-known records. He was kind of an up-and-comer, and I don't know too much on him, but reading Miles Davis's biography, according to Miles Davis, he was in an incident where he got beaten by a police officer, and after that he kind of like had some mental problems and deteriorated and never really lived up to this potential that he could have been. He moved to Europe, and he lived there for like in mid-60s, I think, and lived there for the rest of his life. But I think that, like, I don't know if that's an accurate of what actually happened, that if it was from that beating that kind of stirred up these mental issues that he ended up having, or if it was just something he like a pre-existing condition. Next, I got the Solar Jazz Piano. This is a compilation on Riverside. This is a stereo pressing. Let's see, black labels for stereo and blue for mono during this time. Up until this point, I didn't own any Riverside records. This doesn't go for that much money online. It's pretty cheap to pick up, actually, and this copy's not in great shape either. It has tape on the sides. It's vinyl's a little rough, not too bad, but you know, crackles and stuff, and because it's a mostly piano album, the surface noise is pretty prominent in it. But what a lineup Riverside had on its label during that time. Thelonious Monk, Bill Evans, of jazz piano players. Thelonious Monk, Bill Evans, Bobby Timmons, Wynton Kelly. Crazy that they actually had all these artists signed to their label at one time, I think. I think at the same time, but at least at one time they did have all these players with them. And anyways, really great collection. I don't like to pick up a lot of compilations, but you know, I'm not as anti-compilations as a lot of people. Like, I prefer albums, but I do like the occasional compilation, and this one's really cool, just seeing, like, because it's all piano. Piano players, what's the word I'm looking for? All the leaders on all these tracks are piano players, so it's interesting listening throughout and seeing the difference in piano styles and stuff, and something that you can't see as readily, like listening to one album and then putting on another, like it's all consecutive whatever. But cool compilation, pick it up. You can probably find it in the US without too hard of a time. Lastly, I don't know if it's the most jaw-dropping record of all of these, but it's gotta be close. It's she in this video, I mean, like, of all her stuff, this one was the craziest to find. And without holding you up, guys, any longer in suspense, an original monocopy of Waltz for Debbie. Now this record goes for crazy money online, and usually a pretty expensive record. Normally, when you want jazz original records, you go for the monos, but I'm pretty sure with Bill Evans that stereo's the most desirable. This one's not a stereo copy. This is a mono. Blue Label. The one thing that I'm kind of curious about this record is I think it's an original first pressing, but even though it says like microgroove on the label, there's no punch-in for that deep groove where there's normally the ring around it that you saw on some of the other records that I showed. So I don't know if this means it's a later issue, like first pressing, or what. I tried looking it up on PopPsych, and most of the first pressings on there have that indentation, but there's a few that are labeled as first pressings that are like this one. Now, I mean, for price with all these records, she had looked them up online. She knew how much they're worth, at least in like near mint condition, but like I didn't try to haggle with her at all. She just said that she wanted these records to go to a nice home, and so she charged me like really cheap for all of these. I think like I paid for like $1 each for these, or a couple dollars, and this was $8. And she also knew that, like, she said that she knew like they weren't in the best condition. But I didn't even bring that up, whatever, with her. There's a couple marks on them, like couple large marks, and I'll hopefully get you in the light. Yeah, you can see there. See, just surface marks throughout it, and it doesn't. Nothing really ticks while playing it, but there's a steady stream of surface noise. Like some of these records that I showed, like surface noise is on them, but this one's probably the worst surface noise of all of them. Like the what's his name? The record, Mal Waldron record. Even when you do hear the surface noise on the quiet parts, it's really light. And this record, it's fairly prominent. But I mean, $8, what I think to be an original Waltz for Debbie, it's not a complaint that I really have. Oh, one unfortunate thing that she did too is she taped most of these records. So they this one there was tape actually all across the front and the side, and then like right across the bottom. And I didn't know whether to attempt to try to take it off, but I figured I might as well like try, because I didn't want to pull up a whole bunch of the front on it and like wreck the cover image. But I tried slowly, and it actually all came off. Like I peeled it off and then cut it across, like on the top, so just the very top edge has tape on it, because that's the only thing holding this record together. And tape wouldn't even come off the back. Like I tried pulling it off here, but I pulled some of the paper up, so I decided not to even attempt that. I might as well leave it. Anyways, though, yeah, like the gloss that this cover has on it, kind of protected from getting ruined, because I know if this was just a standard cardboard jacket, that it would have been done for with tape. It would have never been able to get that off. Anyways, Waltz for Debbie, what can I say about it? It's one of the most well-known jazz records of all time, for good reason. It's really amazing. Not only is it a brilliant record, it also has a kind of a big story behind it, where this and Sunday at the Village Vanguard were both recorded on the same day, and Scott LaFaro, who's the bass player on this record, one of the major reasons this is such a great record. Like, Bill Evans' playing is on point, like usual. A lot of his Riverside records are just great, and but after he acquired Scott LaFaro, and especially on this record, Scott LaFaro played right up with the piano instead of being just like taking time like a lot of bass players. He's definitely like right up front, pushing the music forward and stuff, and great interplay with Bill on this record, and he ended up getting in a I should have looked up this story better. I haven't read about it in a long time, but he either got in a car accident or a motorcycle accident. I think it might have been car accident, and passed away. And again, I'm not exactly sure what the time frame was, but I think it was like 5 days after this record was recorded. For sure in a month, like, of this record taking place. Cool thing too, this record was also recorded like 2 weeks after John Coltrane's famous like Live at the Village Vanguard date, so like 2 brilliant live albums recorded at the same place, recorded within like a couple of weeks of each other, or it might have been like 3 weeks apart, something like that. As you can see, my facts aren't perfect on this thing, but hopefully I give you the general picture. Anyways, yeah, that kind of added to like the allure and the myth, well, not myth, but story surrounding this record, but it's still a damn good record. Like, it would still be highly regarded, I think, like, without that whole tragedy surrounding it, and yeah, really unfortunate. Scott LaFaro died so young, and but really cool to have this in my collection. Kind of one of the centerpieces of my collection, even if it's in not the best shape. Just so cool to have this. I doubt I'll ever have another copy, or original copy, if this is even original. But thanks, guys, if you've made it this far in my video. Holy shit, I'm closing in on 40 minutes. I appreciate if you've watched the whole thing. Probably skipped along, but thanks for watching. Again, comment if you like. I really appreciate when you do, and definitely get back to you on your comments. But I understand if you don't. I obviously don't have the best track record of commenting. I'll be uploading a video, I don't know when, probably won't be for a while, but I have a decent stock of other jazz records that I didn't show in this video, same quality level, and I have a lead. And one of the shops, he's gonna show, a huge collection came in, and the guy was a completist, and one of the shop owners, after coming down and talking to them, he told me he would let me take a first peek at the Coltrane records and Eric Dolphy, you know, so, like, the collection was arranged by box, apparently, or sold to him by box, where there was a C box, a D box, and I'll be able to look at the C and D, so, like, you know, Coltrane, Coleman, Miles Davis, Dolphy, so that'll be pretty exciting. And hopefully I find some good stuff, and stuff that's in my price range, because, you know, I can't buy that much. And actually, this stuff that I just showed you, like, it's over 3 months, and, you know, in total, under like a couple $100 was spent on it all, so I'm pretty lucky. And I wish you guys the best of luck in your digging, and thanks for watching. Bye.